My computer.
There you are.
Voila. Here, let me click on my buttons. Hey, okay.
Hey.
Um,
What's up, guys?
What's happening, man?
What's up, Durb?
What's happening, Sean? How you doing, buddy?
Good, man. Good to see you. It's been like 20 years, maybe.
I know, right? Yeah.
Holy shit.
We're all white now.
I know, we're old men. I just saw a picture of you from like a Connecticut like tattoo convention in like early 2000s. I was looking through
Really?
old photos. Yeah, and you're like, I don't know, 20 years old or some shit.
Probably. Yeah, man. Dark hair back then.
Oh yeah. Yeah, all like,
Yeah. That's what's been so good about just like documenting your life and your career and stuff. Like now I'm in my getting close to my mid 50s, but I've like documented my whole career. So it's cool to look back and see yourself young and being like
I
kind of you
know,
didn't know
right?
what was coming after all that stuff too. So yeah,
Yeah, it
that's
it's
was
a
awesome.
good reminder of how like Facebook could really suck you in too, because they're like, here's a
memories.
memory from 15 years ago.
Yeah.
We're
You're like,
thinking about getting
I don't
rid
want
of.
that memory. Delete.
Well, that's real though, man. Like my I see the traumas get resent to all of the young kids, 20-year-olds, right? Every year, a memory of what the shit was going through, right? To them, to their friends, to their family. Like, that's what that shit feeds off of. But your point, you can't hide those memories. That's very healthy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
Hey,
we'll
we
give it another
we
couple
made it.
minutes
We're
for,
still
for
here.
people to roll in.
Right.
Um, I do have a set of questions, and I have like an official introduction because I'm going to record this and we'll put this out on the YouTubes. Then, as we're going through the questions, if anybody that's in the live audience, if you want to, you could raise your hand so you could beam in and talk and ask your question live, or feel free to put it into the chat. But yeah, this will be fun. I was thinking, I was like, man, yeah, I think I hit Sean up yesterday. I was like, I think that it must have been the second or third Hell City, whichever one he brought out the big ass fucking tiki mask.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And
That's what prompted me to look through these pictures this
I
morning.
remember that. Yeah.
nice,
Yeah,
nice.
You
because
still
I was
have
looking.
those?
I still have those pics from like I have some of them. You know what's crazy is the resolution is so bad. I can't like they're like these
Yeah.
tiny little back then they were like high resolution, but now like you put them on a website and they're these tiny little pixelated
They're all
things.
grainy and shit. Yeah.
Yeah.
Used to take
But
all
yeah,
night to
man, I could
download them.
send I could find some of those and send them to you for sure. I
Yeah,
was
do that,
looking at
man.
it this morning.
Yeah, that'd be rad. I keep everything
Absolutely.
on like terabyte backups and all that stuff too. So if I got like an album of old photos, I save them, man. I want to look back when I'm like 80, if I make it that long, and just like reminisce your life, reminisce your career, all the stuff you've gone through,
Oh yeah.
And
sweat and tears.
kids get it too, right?
Hopefully.
Oh yeah.
Hopefully. Yeah, right.
But it is
I
fun to
don't
sit down with other people too, and I mean, like family, and be like, "Look at this," and show them like your past, or people that might not know what you've done, things like that too. So
Yeah, people will look at those pictures and see that tiki thing and they're like, "Holy shit, that thing is awesome. Whatever happened to it?" And I'm like,
that
You
was the
know,
big stand, right? You guys were doing all the kiosks and
yeah,
everything
yeah."
like that.
yeah.
So you and
I mean,
Gay, I mean,
Sean,
you
I don't
guys have
know.
been working together a long time too.
I sent. I think I
Oh my
sent. I don't.
goodness.
I don't know if I sent it or if I held back to send it, but I have a. I sent Sean a 5 foot tall, digital touchscreen display, and I was, it wasn't even. It was, it wasn't $20,000 or 10,000, whatever the fuck it was back then. And that tiki was fucking still like people, there's still no tiki mask fucking size shit going around at conventions these days. And it was
Mhm.
the part of the ingenious of that was that it would fit through like a standard doorway with
Yeah,
one
yeah,
person
yeah.
on either side and zero extra room. And
Yeah.
Zero.
because you propped it up fucking 5 feet up in the air, that shit was like eight
Nine. It
foot
was
tall,
9 feet tall.
9 feet
Yeah.
tall.
Was it really? Oh my God.
Yeah, yeah.
And that was a time too, like think about it. That was a heavily influenced time with tattooing when tiki art was huge. Like
Huge.
the
You
tiki stuff was like a big thing right then. Rockabilly
Oh yeah,
tattoos.
I got one on my foot. That's what that Joe Cap did back then. That's what
Yeah.
like prompted
Yeah.
that. I'm like,
Joe,
oh,
Jimmy
the
was doing a
tiki,
lot.
that's the thing.
Wow.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. That's cool.
Okay, well here, let's see. Let me Let me see
Kind
if I could do an intro justice. Uh,
Don't fuck it up, man.
Obviously, Durb, you've been around for a very. Sorry, let me sip my tea here. And a lot of
How do
people
you
just
keep that
record this shit in.
mustache out of that?
What
I
was
got
that?
I
questions.
don't.
How do you keep that mustache, that caterpillar, out of your coffee?
Well, I think you've answered the question in the question, but okay. So we've got Durb Morrison here. We're wicked excited. We've been having conversations with him through the years, and you've probably seen him in the tattoo sphere, tattoo universe. Uh, let's see here. It said you started tattooing professionally in 1990. Is that what we?
Professionally was 1991, like right when I
1991.
graduated high
Okay,
school.
so depending on what year you're watching this, you could do your own math, but it's like over 35, 38. It's a bazillion years.
Yeah.
Durb
Yep.
is the owner of Red Street Tattoo Gallery. Back in the day, I remember he was one of the first people to successfully sell. I don't know if one of the first people, but one of the first people I knew of to successfully sell a tattoo shop. And and it seems
Skin
like
skin.
both shops. Now, years later, he reopened with a different flavor, and again, Red Tree's evolved over the years.
Yeah, definitely.
Hell City Tattoo Fest in Columbus, Ohio. Again, over 20 years, one
Yeah.
of the world's favorites. Every detail is covered with Hell City, and the whole crew of people, both young and old, come through, and we'll talk about how he keeps it fresh and but anchored with history during this talk here. There's plenty of talks about jiu-jitsu and discipline, and there's actually some on the Reinventing channel, TattooNOW. But we're not going to talk about that today because that's not my gig. I love the discipline in it, but I got hurt last time I went. But
Yeah,
that's
you've
okay.
done some martial arts.
I
Yeah.
walk and do other exercises. Main point is, let's see. So okay, now Durb and TattooNOW have kind of crossed paths on and off. Sean is here on the call. We were talking earlier about how it was, for me, it was probably the second Hell City. And I don't know what, Sean must have known him before because he was the one that
It
brought me
was
along to Hell
it
City.
was the first Hell City. I think it was the first Hell City.
2002. Yeah.
Yeah.
Fucking forever ago, and
Yeah.
and then since then, let's see. Again, we were speaking of the memories, right? We've got the Venetian Worldwide Conference
Yeah.
that was there, where there's a couple of discussion panels. Maybe we'll click on the links.
Yeah. Yeah.
There was the Worldwide Conference in Portland. There was the
Yep.
Irish, the Emerald Isle with
Yeah.
Martin. Those things were
Yeah. The
fucking
seminar
fun.
days. Yeah.
There was smaller ones. I remember we did a tiny ass, like, I don't know, it was 15, 20 people in Keystone with you and Stefano, and we
Yeah.
did a day of
Yep.
seminars. You guys went off snowboarding, and again, I fucking went to the
Yep.
bar and did some scheming. Uh, but and also you've been recording again. I'm sorry to make this intro long, but there's a lot of
That
shit
was
here.
great.
You've done the longevity of the tattooer as both a live seminar and then as a recording you could find through the YouTube sphere and through Reinventing, and if you search Durb Morrison and longevity of the tattooer. Uh, okay. And the main reason why I wanted to actually do a video with you is because earlier this year I was ready to do my 2026 schedule, and I put in the dates for Hell City that you have, and because you're a meticulous planner, you have dates out for fucking 5 years, it seems, right? So when
30.
I saw
Yeah.
November, I was like, well, clearly that's
Yeah.
a typo. It's
It's a
not
big
like
change.
Durb to publish a typo on his website, And then I
Yeah.
saw it in the picture, and I was like, well, that's not just in the text, that's in a picture. It says November
Yeah.
twice.
Confirmation.
It's really not in Durb's nature to fuck that shit up twice. I
Yeah.
immediately was like, he fucked it up. I texted you right away, and you're like, oh, yeah, no, we changed the dates.
For the
So,
next 2 years. Yeah.
next
For
2
the
years.
Ohio, just for the Ohio show. Yeah.
For the Ohio show. So, in any event, let's start by chatting a little bit about Hell City, its evolution. We could, maybe get some stories from way back in the day, from historical, and then yes, let people know that you're changing the dates and what you got coming up. And yeah, well, anyways, thanks again for coming on.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
it's
Thanks,
crazy to
everybody.
have too old to die young now. But to your point, hopefully we're only halfway.
Yeah. Try to survive as long. So you want me to talk about Hell City a little bit?
Yeah. So let's so we have Sean on the line. Let's hear about some of
Yeah,
the.
Sean, you've been there. You've experienced it. I mean, you experienced it from the birth of it. That was 2002. So what's that? 24, going on 24 years or something like that now.
Yeah. And I have not been back, and I've blown Durb off twice since then. And
Yeah,
I
we're all busy.
but I'm coming this year, man. I am coming this year. It's on my birthday this year.
See, you can get spanked on the main stage in front of everybody.
Absolutely, absolutely. But yeah, it has always been a premiere show, man. It has always been like wow, this is how it should be, you know. So hats off to you on that.
Thank you. Yeah, like when I started doing Hell City, I mean, as a younger kid, I started doing my first conventions. I mean, 18 years old. They were the Easy Riders, bike shows back then. But I started really getting into like the convention circuit. I like the camaraderie. That's when I started realizing like the family kind of thing with tattoo artists and the circuit and stuff like that. It was like a different world outside of your tattoo shop, going to the conventions and meeting new artists, seeing different styles. But as I kept doing them over the years, I started kind of seeing some of the shortcomings, I guess, from other conventions where personally started entertaining the idea of putting on my own show, and try to really put it like artist focused, and really like heavy art focus and kind of like doing different things. I think that's when we first did that. Like Sean, you can attest, like when we did that first show, it had a different vibe. It had a lot of new things that other shows weren't doing.
Oh
Meticulous,
yeah.
details for the artist comfort, things like that. And then just nothing but high caliber tattooing if I was going to show tattooing in my city, I want to show like the highest level of tattooing. So ever since Hell City began, we've kind of strived to promote tattooing in the best light we could, not just quality wise, but like, positivity and things like that to bring people. I've always said, come beyond your television to experience tattooing on a whole new level.
How did you have that first network of artists? To your point, like the quality of artists has always been spectacular,
Yeah.
And it's amazing. We'll talk about how it's evolved. The lineup has
Yeah.
evolved over the years, or a large part of it's evolved. Some of it again stays true, core, historical. But
Yeah.
that very first round, like again, 20 some odd years ago, how did you? I mean, you were a tattooer, you owned a shop, but like,
Yeah.
how did you have the network to start a convention?
Well, I mean, the network I was in, like, if you look back in the 90s through the 2000s, I was in like all the magazines, tons of articles,
Hmm.
pretty much in every magazine. So I think that when I was traveling, other artists knew who I was. So it allowed me to make a lot of really good, like high level connections. Like, I mean, Joe Capo, Guy Aitchison, Paul Booth, all the big names back then. Um, so I think from getting out of my shop and doing those conventions and traveling allowed me that connection to those, the high
Yeah.
caliber artists and stuff like
Now,
that.
when they had that caliber, did that like how did that interact for everybody else, right? So that means you almost have to hold all the other artists to the to the same standard, right? Whether that's fair or
Yeah.
not, right? But if you're going to be next
That's
to
why
Guy
it's
and
always been,
Paul and Joe,
yeah, it's always been known that it's hard to get into Hell City. There's usually like a huge waiting list, but Hell City's always, it hasn't been just about high caliber big name artists too. It's people that we see that are working hard and diligently and like the next big names. So we've also like fostered and raised, at Hell City, a lot of the next big names are at Hell City, and that's what we see. So it's not nothing but big name artists. It's a lot of big name artists, but it's a lot of people that we see potential either like
sure.
contributing to tattooing and really being active, but like the art levels too. So it's not just high caliber; it's for young and upcoming artists as
No, it's
well.
it's nuts. I like sometimes I don't know. I must have skipped a year or two, because I remember going back and then even if I hit it multiple years, right? And that's part of the interesting part is that, and I don't know what percentage. There's always a lot of new cool tattooers there. A lot of them that
Yeah.
I haven't heard of, and I
Even
have to pay
more
attention.
nowadays. Yeah. Even more
Um,
nowadays. I mean, we all know there's a lot of, young and up and coming artists and stuff.
yeah.
And even being in my 50s, I'm still like, I got my eyes on things and I'm watching people. And I still hit a lot of conventions myself. So I'm still meeting the next
Yeah.
generation,
So
I
okay,
guess.
so you have to, at the sake of no one could get mad at you for not being named, but like you got to give us a couple names of so as of November in 2025. Who are some of the young people that you're bringing in that we might not have heard of?
Oh, wait, you mean for next year?
Yeah. I'm
Oh,
just
God.
hitting you on the hot spot. You just got to say some names, and like I said, no one could get mad for
Oh,
not being
Jesus.
named, but you got to give me
I would
some.
have to get online right now to look at our roster. We have been selling some
Yeah.
booths for next year. I couldn't give a correct answer right now
Yeah,
without
well,
going to
not for
my
the
site.
show. Who are you looking at? Give us a cool new
I mean,
tattoo artist.
we're always looking to bring Paul Booth back,
Yeah.
Paul Booth is one of them. I don't know, everybody knows Zach Singer as well. We want
Okay.
to
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, Zach Singer's a really good one. I don't know, man. You put me on the spot there. I'm gonna have
Sorry.
to.
We'll think. Well, I'll bring it back, maybe. Right? How about that?
Yeah, but we
Um,
are starting to round up. If you go to hellcity.com right now, you'll see who's kind of getting
well,
booths.
it's also not. Yeah,
Um,
it's also not super fair because it's November, right? It's a year,
yeah, that's what
full
I'm saying. I'm
year.
like,
Well,
but I'm getting
well,
ready. I'm going to Puerto Rico in just a couple weeks. I'll probably talk to people. So when I get out to go to these conventions, is usually when I'll make booth sales or whatever, and I'll be like, hey, email me, things like that.
cool.
So we'll see who the full roundup's going to be in 2026. Because like you said, we're just opening booth sales right now.
Awesome. And but to your point, if people are interested, all they have to do is email, and if they don't get an email back, they email back the next year, and if they don't email back, and then the last thing that I always
Yeah,
say is when people ask, "How do you get in?" I'm like, "Well, did you go to his show and introduce yourself?"
that's a big
And
part of it too. That
when they
personal
say
connection.
no, I'm like, "Well, why don't you go experience the show and then introduce yourself for 30 seconds to 2.5 minutes and say, I really appreciated coming to your show."
It makes a huge impact. Like one of my sayings, like the fool doesn't ask. Doesn't introduce themselves, or you got to lower your pride, be like, hey,
Yeah.
this is my work. I've had people come to Hell City that are literally like, they're setting up like in their booths and they're like looking up, they're like, hey, Durb, thank you. I've been trying for 8 years to get in, like
Well,
things like that. And then once they're in, I mean, they're on the list and stuff, but it's not easy to get into because we have a panel of artists here that kind of look at everybody's work too. The main deciding factor is me, with the final say.
yeah,
But no, it's not easy to get into. We want high caliber. We also want to give opportunity. We're not above anything, and
sure.
I've always stayed humble with all that stuff. So I like to give opportunity.
Okay, so before we move on to the next topic, then what are the dates for next year for
August,
2026?
yeah. Next year is August 14th through the 16th, and then it's November 6th through the 8th.
November 6th through the 8th in
So yeah,
Columbus.
so that's where it's changed. Yeah, so the Ohio one, we were talking about that a little bit ago. The Ohio one's usually like in May or April. After these next 2 years, we go back to the May the 4th. So we're going back to our Star Wars
Yeah.
years again. But right now, we had Sonic Temple come along. They're a huge, huge. Everybody knows. Does everybody here know what Sonic Temple is? It's this like
No.
big rock concert. It's a concert
Oh
I want
yeah.
to go to.
Right. Right.
So I like all the bands and it's a lot of like tattooed people. It's a lot of the younger generation. It's into tattoos, music, things like that. So we did it one year when Sonic Temple landed. We thought it would go, okay, well, it'll complement each other. And then we realized like you're locked in a rock concert. You're not going to leave to,
Yeah.
go get tattooed or anything. So we did that one year. We endured it. It was definitely a slower year for us. But when they announced their dates again and they landed on our dates, I was like,
Time to
one,
move.
I'm not doing it to myself. One, I'm not going to do it to my artists that I bring in there and bring them like a slow
Sure.
show.
Sure.
So when we start talking to high, we're like, help, like we need new dates. They gave us some dates. It was like Mother's Day weekend, Fourth of
Uh,
July weekend, Memorial Day weekend.
yeah.
And so they had the dates for us in November, and we looked, and we're not conflicting with anything. So that's where we're going to land for the next 2 years in November. But sometimes, I mean, tattooing's big, but huge rock concerts with the same. It'd be one thing if it was like a country
Yeah.
concert,
Sure. Sure.
but it's our people, So we don't want to, and we don't want to do that to them. We don't want to
To the
like,
fans, to the people who have to
yeah,
pay.
man, yeah, because there's people at that rock concert that want to come to Hell City.
Sure. Sure.
So yeah, so that's why we moved it. And actually, it's going to be really cool. We just had Caitlin Campbell do our art. So Rember's doing the artwork
Mm,
for Phoenix, so that's going to have like a
awesome.
vacation-y kind of thing. And then Caitlin Campbell did the Ohio art. So the Ohio thing, we're keeping it kind of themed. It's going to be like Krampus, spooky Christmas type of thing.
Ah. Yeah.
So
Yeah. Cool.
it's gonna have a
Awesome.
different feel. Yeah. So gotta do what
Hell
you
yeah.
gotta do.
Sweet. Okay, so shifting gears a little bit, I was checking out one of the fireside interviews. So you have a lot of interviews. People should definitely go out and check out all the interviews. You were talking
A
a bit
lot.
about the shift at like the 8 year shift in tattooers or
Yeah.
throughout their careers.
You
And so
caught
I
that,
guess I
yeah.
wouldn't mind if give us a little teaser again. We could go watch that interview, but then and I'm also I guess I'm wondering how is there an effect that like technology is having, right? Like is that shift like, is it a mechanical shift or is it a mental shift?
Well,
Like, can it be accelerated? Just
well,
with the
people
amount
are,
of volume of knowledge and stuff that is available these days, it's crazy.
yeah, technology's, I mean, it's definitely changed tattooing. Even the design process we all know between the AI art or Procreate or even Photoshop was like the first AI type of thing I think that tattooers are really using to do designs. But yeah, like what I mentioned with Jake on that was, yeah, the generation, what we've seen, and I don't know if this is just me as like a convention promoter or what, but like it's not 10 years, it's not a decade, it's a fast moving industry right now. And the generation changes about every 8 years is what we're seeing,
Yeah.
You see it as far as being a convention promoter. I've had friends be like, why doesn't so and so do your show anymore? Why doesn't I don't see this guy at your show anymore? And I'm like, people move on. Like it's like
Sure.
and people
Yeah.
go out for their careers too to hit conventions to get known, to meet other people, And once sometimes when they do that, they're more comfortable at home. They're doing guest spots at, other convention or other shops and
Yeah.
things like
Pick up
that.
families
So
eventually, and it's a lot harder to travel for
yeah,
15, 20 years.
exactly. So you usually see artists hitting it pretty hard for like 8 years, and then you see that next generation, and that's like what I said earlier. Like we try to embrace the young and upcoming artists too, because they are the next generation. I'm not tattooing nearly as much as I used to tattoo. I have a lot of spine issues and stuff like that from tattooing, and I enjoy doing painting, and I enjoy the business part of it. And I put a lot of time into. So it's like when I'm not tattooing, everything I do, almost all my emails, messages, it all revolves around tattooing.
Mhm.
So I never really feel bad about me not tattooing as much as long as I'm constantly like giving into tattooing.
Now, is that with the exception of the jiu-jitsu, or is that with a lot of tattoo people too? I mean, obviously it's with a lot
Uh,
of tattoo people, but that might be one of the things that you talk about. Or I guess my question would be, how does that inform your tattooing? I mean, obviously you're stretching and you're making sure your body's in shape for it. So maybe I
we
maybe
talk
I
about
rolled that back. I was like, the jiu-jitsu is not tattoo,
no,
except for it helps
yeah,
your
no,
body. You know?
yeah. No, that's for me.
No.
And I've always like my longevity seminar, literally I say you should have an extracurricular activity that you have a moment that you kind of unplug from tattooing or the tattoo messages. And I tell people do that before you go home, before you get back to your comfort when you got to start your drawings and all your art and stuff for the next day. So no, jujitsu keeps me in shape. It keeps me mentally sharp. There's a lot of tattoo guys. I mean, if you look at it, I think that's the biggest martial art that tattoo artists are doing right now. Striking is one thing, but you're gonna like fracture your hands. I mean, I just had another surgery, so I'm recovering from surgery from jujitsu. So don't. But I think that every artist, because tattooing can be not unhealthy, but the stagnant part can be unhealthy. Where when you're done tattooing, go lift weights, go on a run, yoga, jujitsu, something to disconnect mentally, or you'll burn out, man. Because tattooer burnout is it's a real thing, and
Yeah.
it's a real thing when you're not disconnecting somehow mentally. I think when you're just constantly in that
You know,
grind.
one of the things that it hit me at one point, and I hate fucking sports. I really do. I mean, I understand that there's parts of obviously a lot of my friends love sports, and there's parts of them that are good, but
Yeah,
oh shit, wait, it was the practicing. Where was I going with?
you're going
Oh,
to
I forgot.
generations, and then you go to jujitsu, and
Well,
then like
I guess I would say, as far as stretching and all that, there's all the other ones too, right? But you need to find some way to stretch and to get yourself doing different things because the body is not designed to
no,
cramp up. Oh, what I was gonna say is it's funny. If you want to be best in class, right? Okay. So the best in class sports people fucking warm up and stretch before they go to a peak performance,
yeah,
right? So, and
very
again, I'm relating this. I probably heard it from Nick or from you or from somebody who is like, if I want to have a peak performance while I'm tattooing, I'm going to stretch and warm up like I would before I do
yeah,
anything
yeah. Nick's like
best
that.
in
Yeah,
class. And I'm like, oh, wait a minute. Does that mean that if I want to do computer geek work before I sit down for fucking 5 hours in front of Zoom, I should be stretching and doing my things? Oh, it does mean
probably.
that because,
Yeah.
and
Or when you get off the podcast, like what I'm saying, like when you're done tattooing, then do something. And you got to have time for yourself. We all know this. Like as tattooers, we give so much of our time to everybody else. like all the time. You're dealing with your clients and trying to get their drawing done or schedule so you're always giving yourself, so that's where it's good to have like your time, even just 1 hour to yourself, you know. I usually find myself if I'm lifting weights, I'm still on my damn phone. Jiu-jitsu is the only thing where I'm like getting murdered, where I can't even think about a phone.
You're like
You know?
still trying.
I mean, does everybody here do you guys all like Sean, James, Brianna, do you guys all do an extracurricular activity as well? Like every day, do you have something else that you do other than tattooing or
I
art?
do. I do for sure. I have a like routine, and then before I tattoo, I go through my wrist exercises really hardcore.
Yeah,
And I remember I had started that, and then you kind of came out with that whole dialogue, and
just
I
an
was just really,
awareness. Yeah,
yeah, I was really impressed. So I appreciate that.
yeah, hell yeah. I'm glad. I've heard a lot of ours got a lot out of that longevity, or like you said, just the awareness to be like, oh shit, pay attention to
Yeah.
your body. It's a do as I say, not as I've done, because I got 3 thoracic herniations, 5 bulging discs, all kinds of fun shit going on. You know.
I've been doing yoga, but I
Yeah.
almost stopped wearing my belt because
Yep.
you told me don't wear a belt. And I'm like, so now like my pants are always falling down. Like Durb told me don't wear a belt.
That's
So
real. Yep.
anyway, that shit's real. Thank you for that. I think that's actually a real thing. And
Yeah.
yeah, I think it's so important just to bring up the conversations because it just doesn't, I don't know, it just doesn't get talked about, or it can be
Yeah.
like it can easily sort of be um diminished or minimized.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't feel well today or whatever. And I think that can be easily sort of overlooked. So I think I like that you bring spotlight to it.
Thank you. Yeah. And I think it's Sean, what do you do, Sean? You're on mute. You're muted. There
I'm
you go.
not muted anymore, man.
Now you're not.
So I don't know. I started like, I don't know, maybe like 5 years ago, I had shoulder surgery and it got me into a routine of like exercising and stretching and all that stuff. And I do that like every day. But like you, man, I'm like falling apart. I wish
Yeah.
someone talked to us about this when we were like in our 20s
Yep.
and first starting, because I think if I started this earlier, like I
Yep.
need to have wrist surgery, my other shoulder's fucked up, my neck, my back, like all the because we just sit in chairs hunched
Yeah.
over
Yeah.
for years.
Yeah. I've always
So
said,
it's good
well,
that you're doing that, man, because I think people need to know that. Like when I apprentice people now, like I talk to them about getting up, stretching, walking around, like this job is going to break you. You know what I mean?
I was just getting ready to say that. I think that every apprenticeship should have a focus on artist health, because you don't know when you're getting into tattooing, you don't realize like you're gonna be hunching over and like getting to your client like for years. So I think it's something that should be a part of tattoo apprenticeships, or like the artist health aspect. Because sometimes by the time you realize it's too late, like, oh my
Yeah,
back, and then you're like, you already got a fucking problem.
yeah.
So it should be included, I think, in every apprenticeship. But I'm glad to hear literally from all you guys that you got something out of it. Because sometimes you're like teaching this stuff and you're like, I hope people are like getting it. So no, that's nice that it's like going down the generations of like, take care of your body, take care of your back, your eyes, you know, all that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Oh, that's right. Nick was always talking about refocusing, right? And again, a lot of this, when I started having all the tinglies and all the bad things happening, and when I talked to Guy about it, he's like, "Well, did you read my book and there's parts on stretching and stuff?" And I'm like,
Yeah.
No, I did, I
That's a
didn't.
that's a
I
good
will
point.
though."
'Cause if you look back at guys like early books, like reinventing stuff,
Well,
he had a whole like he would draw himself in the setup and
with
the
proper posture.
but he would actually hand draw like himself in the air work area and all that. So yeah, he was one of the ones that first included any type of a postural, bring your client to you, don't be going to your client, and
Yeah,
talking about
and it's
waiting.
worth mentioning, at least for the replay, checking out who's Adrian Lee has his high risers for the massage beds, so
Yeah.
to help encourage people tattooing standing up and whatnot. James, you have your hand raised. Hop on.
Yeah, I guess this is actually a very interesting conversation. There isn't a lot of research to understand what are the risks specifically posed to tattooers.
Yeah.
Like it's just there's a lot of research done on what happens to dentists and what happens to other professions as they sort of they're using their bodies to perform a labor. And so that's what we're laborers. We're working class, we're laboring. And so but that's the only way that we can continue to sell our labor is through the the circumspection of the instrument, like how we take care of the body so we can
Yeah.
continue to do the thing.
Exactly.
And there isn't any like research or like there isn't anything on this. And it's like we know as we tattoo for years and years and years, we build up muscle memory and stuff. It's like our hands can think, but we need to somehow have that focus on the rest of the body. Like I think that's what you're advocating for, like the posture and probably through some other activity that you're kind of resetting yourself. Is that right? Or is that what you're thinking?
Yeah, and kind of like a strength training too. If you think about it, I mean, like strength training, tattoo artists' lower bodies are really bad too because we sit on our ass and we deactivate our legs, especially nowadays with batteries and stuff. We're not even functioning on clip or foot pedals anymore. So you literally deactivate your whole lower body and you're just sitting on your hips as a tattooer, you know. So strength, that's why I'm saying like when you get done tattooing, that's either before or after, get like a something in for your body because it is detrimental, man. We're the closest thing to a tattooer's profession as far as physicality is a truck driver. Literally. Truck drivers, you know, we're tattooing. Truck drivers are up here, but they're stationary as fuck. And they have a lot of, if you look it up, they have one of the most like professional health problems, you know, and they got their truck stops, but they don't have any gyms or any of that
Do you do
stuff.
like
So
10 squats before and after a session or something, or do you have any
I,
sort of
I
routine?
stretch. Yeah, I don't really do. I usually like, I've already lifted today, like an hour and a half in the morning.
Right.
I usually get up early. Well, just, and that's part of that like mental clarity. So it helps me get through the stress of my day. But yeah, before I tattoo and while I'm tattooing, yeah, I'll stretch. I'll stretch right in front of my client. They know. And I'm
Awesome.
old.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I gotta stretch,
Well,
you know.
so
But no, I
Derek,
think,
we've got a hand up from Derek from Coalition Tattoo Supply and Tattoo Career Builders.
yeah.
Um,
Hey guys.
hop on.
Yeah, yeah.
Although,
So
Derek, if I could ask, because we're going to be replaying this, if it's easy for you to turn your phone sideways, then the camera would be full and it would be awesome. It's been years since I've said, yeah, look at that. Cheers.
that better for you, Gabe. Awesome. Okay, I'll play along. Yeah, I mean, you just go to a convention and you see everybody hunched over, right? I mean, it's really painful to walk the floor
Right.
and see the position of people while they're tattooing. What I noticed too, a lot of these hunched over positions too, is that it's also cutting off their diaphragm. Their breathing technique is just absolutely horrible with
Yep.
this, and the creativity I think can suffer, from that breath, just not getting in that full capacity as well. So when I see somebody and I'll always, when I see the worst posture, I'll always ask, how long you been tattooing? And they're, you'll hear things like 2 years, 5 years, they're all guys in their 20s. And you're like, man, it's not going to last.
You're
It's not
doomed.
going to last if you continue this way, So I remember years ago, I think it was like 20 years ago, Jeff Gogway told me, he's like, bring your client to you. And I was like, oh, no shit. I realized I spent over a decade going to my client and not bringing my client to me. And then all of a sudden I just dropped that Tat Soul chair and I dropped everything and I got a massage table and brought everything closer and it changed everything. And so the next convention I went to, I watched Paul Booth and he sits really well. He was also bringing his client to him. His elbows dropped, his back erect. He's not hunched over. And I was like, holy shit, there it is. He's a big guy. So, it worked. You could hear him breathing, but he's in it and he's ergonomically, positioned well. And I think that's the longevity of it. There's nothing worse than, I mean, every tattooer we know has massage therapists or acupuncturists on speed dial.
Yep.
And we should replace that with things like jujitsu, yoga.
Yep.
For me, Olympic lifting, whatever it may be. So you got to find your thing, but just that warm up phase, getting it there. I wish I would have heard that my first 10 years of tattooing.
Yeah.
Or at least just, implemented and kept it as, something I did every day. But yeah, you're right, James. There's not a lot of study out there. It's just kind of, other industry standards that we adopt and bring into the picture. So, and Durb, I know you've done some ergonomic seminars.
Yeah. Yep. Definitely.
Right.
Yeah. One of the things like what you're saying too, like as tattooers, like we're there every day, 6 to 8 hours going to our clients are there 3 to 5 hours every other week or every month, however. So for us, it's literally like you said, it's got to be like Gogwe said, bring in your client too, because we're there every day. That's our full time. So if you don't make an adjustment, like your client leaves in 5 hours, they don't have to hunch over tomorrow and the next day. So yeah, like it's really up to the artist to be aware of their bodies. Like you said, bring their clients to them, have an extracurricular thing. You know, jujitsu's rough. Has anybody in here done jujitsu? It's like rough as shit and it's very damaging. So the yoga sounds better, like for like an artist's career, the yoga's probably better, you know, like weightlifting with yoga, because you're not going to get as many injuries. You know, I'm out here fighting 30-year-olds and I'm in my mid 50s. It's not smart.
Were you
You
that
know?
just sparked a memory? I'm trying to figure if I'm remembering it right. Switching gears just a little bit in Ireland. Were you there with Jeff and Nick when Martin
Yeah.
was when Martin
Yep.
and we were all doing the running around the Dublin for the
The
team
treasure hunt
building
we did.
exercise?
Yeah. That was cool.
That was amazing. I remember. So the setup
That
is
was
we're
the
doing
first year in
the.
Dublin, wasn't it?
Tell us
Yeah.
the story of the Emerald Isle from your perspective,
Well, I
or
mean,
the right parts of it.
yeah. I mean, it was good because it gave me all my Irish connections. Now, you introduced me, I think, to Martin,
Yeah,
Martin McIver, who's an amazing guy. I
awesome.
love Martin.
A great
So yeah,
musician
he
too.
is he?
Yeah, awesome.
Okay, yeah.
Next time you talk to him, have him send you some of his music, either old or new. It's great. Sorry.
Yeah. So we went over there, that's when he reached out and he's like, "Hey, I want you to come and teach your longevity," which was nice to take it overseas. Um, yeah, and then he brought over Nick and Jeff, and that was a good chance. Like I already know Nick, from like him tattooing my throat and everything, but
Yep.
gave me a good chance to hang out with Gogwe. And remember we were doing the pictograph app on was it
Yeah,
the metric app or
is
whatever? But
geometric.
it was really cool because I met a lot of the Irish people that I still know today. Even we all went to Belfast. And we went to the
Awesome.
Titanic
Yeah.
show to advertise, and
Yep.
but the treasure hunt was cool because it allowed us to like be like little kids running around Dublin, even though I didn't know where the hell I was in the whole city.
Yeah, that was amazing.
Um,
So that was Martin. Part of one of his jobs as an event producer is he takes people on the treasure hunts through Dublin, right? And he'll do this for some of the probably big corporations that go over to Ireland to do this stuff, right? And I was like, well, dude, you're awesome. You must be awesome at this. We have to do it for tattooers. And he's like, tattooers are too cool for treasure hunt team building exercises. And I'm like, I fucking hate that shit, but like we have to because you're awesome, and I'm sure you do it awesome. And so we had, I don't know, it was like anywhere between 30 and 50 people for the sessions, and they're all tattooers.
it was cool.
And then sure enough, the next day we're breaking it all up, and like Jeff and Nick are like, oh no, we're not doing team building. Like we're too cool. Like we're all not too cool for it, but we don't like we're
Not me. I was like, hell yeah, let's get fucking
you're like, let's
silly.
get, and that's the beauty of these things, right? It's like a math fucking formula. There's always one or two that'll like lead it, and then there's like that'll drag Nick and Jeff and me and all the people that are like, no, we can't do the. And all of a
That's why you
sudden,
need
there's like
leaders
trying
to
to do the
motivate.
wave, and everyone gets back, and everyone's smiling and having fun. It was but to the best of my knowledge, very few official team building exercises like that happen in the tattoo world because no one thinks it's gonna. Even though it does work, no one thinks it's gonna work. That was
We're gonna
fun.
start doing that in Hell City, but like, go find a blanket from a bum. Just like all this like fucked up shit on the
Although
street.
that said, Columbus has a lot of great stuff, right? One of the fun parts about it, one of the things that makes Hell City and Columbus work, is that you could just walk up the street and great restaurants. There's
Yeah,
great arts. There's
that's
all
one
sorts of cool
thing.
stuff around.
People have enjoyed that over the years, like where Hell City is, especially the Columbus one. It's like in the arts district, and the arts district's also the food district. So you're on this like perfect street to just explore Columbus. It's one of the best areas in Columbus. And that's probably a big attraction too, because a lot of families come. It's the sports arenas are right there. So
Yep.
yeah, it's in a really cool area.
Well, and yeah, to that point, you've always had a family-friendly event, right? Like, I mean, again, it's an
Yeah,
adult event, but kids are always, welcome. It seems, or welcome in
yeah.
the right parts, right? Maybe there's a couple spots, but for the most part, it's all
Yeah, it's
good.
always been like a family event. And like I said, the generation of like 8 years is even the people that like attend the conventions too. we used to have that Hex City. Everybody remember Hex City? It was like the
Yeah.
little kid area, little kid zone at Hell City. They get their temporary tattoos and kind of feel like they're a part of it, and it shed a positive light on the kids. Those kids are the next generation. If they were 8 years old, they're in their 30s. And actually, we've seen kids at like adults at Hell City, like, I've been coming here. My dad used to bring me here, and they're all tattooed up now. So painting tattooing in a positive light for the next generation was always important to me because I mean it had a lot of stigmatic time. I got into tattooing like 90, 91 in shops when it was still stigmatic. It was still bikers. You couldn't get a job anywhere with tattoos.
Yeah,
So
yeah. We're gonna
with Hell
close out with
City,
some of those dark stories or figuring out the origin story there. But
yeah. So Hell City
um,
gave me the opportunity to like inspire that next generation of kids and be like, tattoos aren't bad, kids.
oh, it's awesome.
Yeah.
So let's shift gears a little bit, and it's worth noting that that Mark from Needle Jig came in the room, right? So we actually have East Coast, Midwest, and West Coast independent tattoo suppliers here.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, we're all artist owned. We're all independently owned.
well,
Yeah. Fuck yeah,
whew,
Derek.
of the now.
Morning, kids.
But
What up,
so
Mom?
let's talk a little bit about the industry under pressure, right? Like, so in some of the other interviews, and people are chatting about how, and again, you seem to understand the pressures of the big business and the corporations taking interests in tattooing, but also working with people, that have large interests in tattooing, right? With Mario and Sean and some of those, of that crew, right? How so let's get a little bit of an insight, right? So in the end of 2025, right? How do you feel the spirit of tattooing is remaining authentic while it's still growing? And again, it's crazy because it's growing, but because there's so many fucking more people in it, like everyone's share is smaller, but the whole thing is growing. It's crazy. Anyways, I yield the floor. Let's hear it. Sorry, I don't even know if there was a question in there, but
Well, I can just simply tell you this as a guy who, when I came in, I was lucky enough to be taken under the wing of a lot of old timers before me. And a lot of their bitching and gripes about, you young kids, you don't know how good you got it, fucking ruining everything. That was kind of the tone. And about the best way I can relate is that I understand that very clearly now. I think it's just a generational growth thing where people don't like change. Humans don't like change. Things are going to change regardless of what our wishes are for them. We want to protect tattooing. We want it to grow in a healthy manner. We want to, as Durb says, encourage the next generations to prosper from it and love it. But at the same time, we want to resist a lot of things. So I'm just coming to terms with all this. I was angry for the last few years or so about the corporate um, overtake, and I mean, I have to compete with billionaires. That's just not fair. And
Yeah.
then again, same thing I told my kids, and my wife tells my kids is life's not fair.
life's not
Get
fair.
used to it and adjust, adapt, and move on. And that's just that. So, yeah, I just think it's a natural growth. It's whether we're ready for it or not, it's a whole different story. Us old folks kind of gotta conform, and we're not good at that. That's why we're in this industry to start with. So, just my 2 cents and how that's my perspective on it. I'm interested in seeing what you guys have to say.
I mean, with True Tattoo Supply, I started like we're artist owned, and I started True Tattoo Supply just as True Tubes. I just had some ideas for products that I thought would be good, because the industry when I started doing products almost like 19 years ago was the like first True Tube I ever came out with, and I was sitting in the
The steel
shadows
tips.
going, yeah, exactly, the steel tip disposable tattoo tubes, and I was sitting in the shadows just being like, all these fucking kids are going disposable. And I was kind of like jealous because like I don't like scrubbing tubes either, man. I want to go disposable, but I'm too old school and like a traditional tattooer that I needed my steel tubes. I tried to line like the kids were doing with the plastic tips, and I didn't like because I was working with coil machines, so it's causing weird vibrations, outlines were thin. So I really started kind of like my original endeavor into products was to find something that I could work with, that I could pass to the traditional tattooers or the old guys. Um, so those took off really, really big. True Tubes blew the fuck up. And then I developed True Grips, and I was still just a couple products. I wanted, my idea was, so what True Grips were is I invented the first ever disposable memory foam grip cover in tattooing. They're everywhere now. They've been ripped off, but I am the guy that developed the first one. And it was all for like artist comfort, artist health, for carpal tunnel and all that stuff. But as I put my products out, people start ripping me off, and I've told this story before. There's a lot of weasels in the industry that don't even tattoo that are like biting off my products, that long ago. So I decided as like, all right, you want to be me? I was just trying to be like a couple products and sell them to supply companies. I go, you want to be me? Okay, now I got to be you. And that's where True Tattoo Supply, because I was like Mark, like other people coming into the industry and they were just ripping off my products. I was like, now I have to carry other products. I had to develop, but still the main focus of True Tattoo Supply is to bring innovative, new products to the industry from an artist, from a veteran artist standstill. It has changed a lot. We're all seeing, the name companies that'll be not named, but like some of the bigger corporations coming in, and that's a natural progress. When anything gets big enough, there's an invested interest from the outside world. It looks cool. It's on TV. All your athletes have tattoos,
Makes money.
So with that, we're naturally going to see, and Mark, I feel the same way you felt, we're the older guys and stuff like that. And then those are big, big companies, but I still think there's a heart to the tattoo community and the industry that wants to support the people that are more independent and things like that. Tattooing's always been an independent art. So whatever phase we're going through now, sure, it's a crucial phase right now with tattooing. So many people tattooing. You can order on Amazon, you can order from, corporations and things like that. But I mean, this might be in my wishful thinking. I still think tattoo artists like to support tattooer owned or like more independent stuff, So no matter how big it gets, you're always going to have the outsiders that don't, I guess they're not really into tattooing like the heart of it. It looks cool, but I think the independent companies are still going to be supported by the industry and the community. Wishful thinking.
I'd like to say I 100% agree with that, but I don't. I just what I focused on is which is hurt my company financially dramatically is I stopped carrying the brands that these people that were my friends that own these companies for a very long time. I helped build, support their companies for years. And now those are the same people literally trying to put me out of business. So I simply refuse to purchase products from companies that are in those groups. The only thing I'm really carrying to continue to carry is Eternal Ink because there's just such a demand for it. But I haven't bought from some of these other companies in 5 years, 6 years, and that's hurt me detrimentally. It is absolutely wrecked my company. But I'm putting my focus back on my brands, like you said, my creation. I'm an innovator. I'm an inventor. I create things, and I got too busy caught up in the business side, chasing money around the country, and I did it very well for a good number of years. Um, but it was soulless. For me, as an artist, as a creator, I just really need to get back to my own mental health, my own um, what makes me happy. I probably got enough money to live out my days, so I don't necessarily need to chase the money so hard. So I can just focus on doing the things that I think are right, in my opinion, for the industry, and my business is probably 25% of what it was just say 5 years ago, 4 years ago. And I'm okay with that. It took me a long time to become okay with that. But my focus is on my products, my brands, whatever. And I don't care what the rest of the world's going to get caught up with for this crazy time that we're in right now. So I can't control it. I have to accept it, but I don't need to embrace it, I guess is the best way I can explain that a little bit. What's your opinion, Derek?
Derek, you're muted. There you go.
Hmm. Well, I'm not a manufacturer outside of hold on a second. Something popped on my screen there. I'm a distributor. We're here for our region, which is the Northwest. When I entered into the supply game 10 years ago, out of necessity, coming off a motorcycle wreck, not being able to tattoo the same way in 2 years of physical therapy, I knew I still wanted to be in the game, still wanted to be in the industry. It had served me for so many years, and I've served it. And when I first got into it, I think I had my stuck ways. I think I had my ways of thinking around things. Like, I was definitely that coil guy. I was still tube guy. Here we are getting the first request for rotaries and disposable tubes and everything else. And, I resisted at first. That first year I was like, I don't want this shit. So our first, manufacturer we took on was Workhorse Irons, because I'd been using their product for a long time and, knew BJ and really admired their machines. So we went in that game, and I was kind of stuck in my ways. And eventually my clients opened me up. They opened me up to, hey, if you're going to be in our house, we really like you to carry this. And eventually you get enough requests, you start to carry those things. So I had to really drop a lot of the idea around the internal politics that were involved. Like, I remember the first time I brought Fusion and Internal together, and in-house, there was a lot of political, fight going on there. And it was a call I had to make because clients were demanding. These are customers, and these are customers we vet. We're definitely one of those suppliers that vet the hell out of our customers. You're going to get, there's a big block to get through to get product from us. And we stay true to that, whereas a lot of the big guys have not. So I think, there's still values involved in this. I've had to change. One of the values I've had to change is open-mindedness and opening to that. But that also came with, years of education and just sitting back and listening. I had to really start to close my mouth and listen more. And when I started listening to the artist and what their needs were, I knew that it was not just getting supplies in hand in a timely fashion. It was about knowing the product that we were carrying. So like you talk to my general manager right now, he knows more about tattoo products than 95% of this industry, because he knows inside and out, and he's got a brain like an elephant. Guy is just on top of it. So he, in a way, tattooists don't really know. They don't really know what they're using sometimes. They just know like kind of what works for them or what worked for their mentor, and they take that experience and they roll with it. But they don't understand all the bells and whistles of things. So I admire the things that are new. They're coming in. It is tragic that fortunately Amazon's become a competitor. Walmart's become a competitor. I'd like to see more tattooer owned supply companies because there's an invested interest, of course. But I still see opportunity. I don't see us going away. I believe in what Durb is saying. I think we're here. And I think there's enough integrity in this industry to not just go look for the cheaper price, but to support the guys that are doing the right thing. So I think in the end, we'll end up, pretty good in the end. I think and even you, Mark, you're still going to be here, buddy. You might be down to 25%, but it's, this,
I'm
as
not
we get
going
through this
anywhere. That's
change
for
in
sure.
this industry and what's going on at the end of the rainbow, I think we're all going to do well if we stick to our guns and we stay open, to things. So that's my long-winded response to all this. But
That's what
yeah,
it
good.
stay
I
open,
think
reminds
keep
me of.
educating yourself,
Things
and
that
go
people
in
used
for the
to.
grind.
Sorry.
This is what we came in this industry doing. So we're here. We'll make it through in the end. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Reminds me like
Herb, I just want to say real quick, man, I really appreciate you. It's been great working with your company over the years, and just it's been real easy. So my supply buyers, they're real happy with working with you guys. So thank you so much.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Looking awesome. Now I think tattooing, we're all, as supply company owners, we're all feeling, like you said, like the percentage, like we're all down a little bit. but tattooing's a little slow right now. I know we're all, this is the elephant in the room. Uh, but tattooing's a little slow. So tattoo supply company owners like Derek and Mark and myself, you see the industry. So you see when artists are busy because your sales go up. With tattooing being slow, all of our companies, naturally the demand's going to be a little less. Um, I don't know where I was going to go with that,
Yeah.
but as far as,
One thing I wanted
you
to
gotta
bring
hold
up
with a tough
before,
time.
is my mic on?
Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry,
We're
okay,
just
sorry.
talking. Yeah.
I know I talked too much already. Um, uh, so wait, Sean, you have your hand raised. Sorry.
Yeah, I
Oh,
just
oh,
wanted to say, yeah, quick. I got a customer waiting, but I wanted to say goodbye to the rest of you guys and Durb especially, man. It was great to
Done.
to like reconnect after all these years.
Fuck yeah,
And
man.
I got that Hell City email for you. Is that the best contact? 'Cause I want to send you some pictures.
Yeah, or my like the really solid one's going to be Stained Skin. Remember my first shop in
Oh
1994?
my God.
Yeah,
Yeah, I was
so
trying to think of what the name of that was.
yeah,
So
Stained
it's
Skin. Yep. So it's just
so it's
stained
Durb.
skin at gmail.com. Just
Oh,
stained skin.
stainskin@gmail.com. Yeah,
Yep.
I'll send those over and talk to you about coming to Hell City this year, man.
Yep.
I'd love to see you in person.
Love to have you back, bro.
You got it, bro. I will be there, man. You
All
guys
right.
have a great day.
awesome.
All right,
Cheers.
Sean.
I
Later.
was going to say that, especially with tattoo now and being a computer geek in the tattoo world, right? A lot of people would be like, like Baxter or whatever, like, hey man, like you're not like most tattooers don't care about what you got going on. And I'm like, well, that's okay because I don't have to care about most tattooers. Like I can't service all the tattooers, right? If we get 5%, get 3%, right? The right crew of tattooers, but again, the challenge is, carving that out, of course. Okay, so I have one last question. Sean was sending over we're gonna see how far you want to go with this one, but I remember Sean was sending pictures from back in the day, and I remember you had a suffer right on your neck,
Yeah.
right, and what reading about when you're leaving your house at 13, right? I mean, I left at 14, right? Shit out, I mean, again, it was white suburb, but still on the streets,
Well, I
it's pretty
started
young.
tattooing at 13. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
so
started
I guess
hand poke.
part of me wants to be like, without digging too deep, right? Like, not everybody that gets grown up rough and tumble with, that's out on the streets at 13 ends up, properly motivated in a positive alignment. And I'm sure it took you years to get there, right?
Yeah.
So I guess mostly let's talk a little bit, as much as you want to, about the transformation from suffer to fucking
What?
regrowth and
Yeah.
rebirth that you got on your neck there,
I mean,
right?
everybody's watched I guess my life since I've been like 18 in the magazines and all that. 'Cause I started
Uh-huh.
getting published. I think it was like 18, almost 19 when I got international tattoo art back in the day. But I don't know, my past, I grew up, I'm from a divorced family
Mhm.
at the age of 9. So that kind of makes you a little angsty, I guess.
Yeah. Did your father take? Do you still have relationships with your parents after that,
Yeah.
or you did? Yeah.
Yeah, I
Okay.
did, but not for, I mean, when I was that age, and I kind of sometimes like you can't choose the family you're born into, but you can choose what you want to do with your life once you're able to be of
Hmm.
age,
Sure.
So once I hit, I mean, when I started hand poking like little anarchy signs and little like punk rock misfit skulls with like hand poke needle, like sewing needle stuff with the thread and all that crap. And my parents knew kind of what I was doing, and it was always like looked down upon and shunned. It was criminal and taboo and stigmatic and all this stuff. But I found like I felt like I found my own thing, and I think that's probably how we all found the love of tattooing. It was somewhat rebellious back then. It's like our own thing. There weren't as many people doing tattooing. So me as a child, I know I grew up, like I said, around a bunch of other like degenerate kids. you
Hmm.
know, Once I found a skateboard and my two middle fingers and punk rock music. So within all that, within punk rock and skateboarding, everyone was tattooed. So as a kid, I was looking up to like my idols, whether they're bands or skateboarders, and they were all tattooed up and they're all rebellious and they had the same kind of mentality as me. So I also grew up doing some different, martial arts. I like to fight and all that crap. I don't not now. I like to do it. You got to sign a release form now. Um, but growing up a little more rough and rugged, tattoos kind of felt like that for me. I was like 16. I had like professional tattoos. I lied about my age and
Uh-huh.
stuff like that. So with that, I did. I had suffer written here. I still have Sheer Terror, which is like a New York hardcore
Mhm.
city band that I still love. But I was very angsty. I think I grew up, around other angsty kids and skateboarders that like to fight and all this stuff. But when I found tattooing, literally, I was getting in so much trouble, and I was just around the wrong crowd. I had good intentions. I was a smart kid. I just didn't have the right upbringing. When I found tattooing, it sat me on my ass and it took me away from all the shit that was on the streets, all the people that were fueling me to do all the bad shit they were doing. And it put me around, like I said, those bikers and that crazy crowd, the degenerates. Those were my people. And they were more real than all the fake normies,
Mhm.
that were telling me tattoos were stupid and criminal, all this. It was almost like those people like Sailor Moses when I
Mrs. Moses,
tattooed
yeah,
for
yeah.
Moses. I was only like 20 something years old. They were like the fathers to me. Yeah, like my father was around, but as far as like instilling like shit was like the tattoo guys, Tim Miller, the guy I first tattooed for, Sailor Moses, they were like father figures for me, and you look up to them as a kid. So I feel like tattooing, probably for all of us, gave us a purpose, took us away from all the bullshit we were doing before that who knows what we were doing, um, and gave us purpose. It sat on us on our ass. First day I tattooed in the shop, I went from doing little homemade tattoos for like 25 bucks on friends. First day I got in the shop, I made $600 cash. And
Mhm.
that was the first time when I go, so glad I didn't listen to people. I'm so glad that I followed my like heart with the art that was like mine back then. Not everybody had it. So it pulled me away from all that. And then, eventually those crowds fade away and you have like your new life and your new like family. That's why I call it the tattoo family. It's always felt like that. And that's where I said you can't choose a family you're born into, but you can put yourself around the family you want.
When people
Tattooing
say
has
that, I
always
always
been.
half freak out. I'm like, it's like a family. You mean they're like fucking split up, half fucking drunk, abandoning it? Wait, no, the family you create, not the family you're born with.
Yeah, exactly. And I think we can all understand that, tattooing. And we'd all have, like, here's the thing too, guys, and we can all say this. We could literally be anywhere around the world, any city, and we run into some shit or whatever. We could probably always hit up a tattoo shop or tattooers that would be like, hell yeah, bro. And they'd help you out, even if sometimes you don't even know them. Just saying, tattooing has a lot of bonds that people don't realize,
Yeah.
whether it pulls you out of your past, like your childhood, and defines you as an adult. But I wouldn't trade tattooing for anything, man. I always say I wake up every day and try to give back to tattooing because tattooing's given me so much in my life. It's given me everything, literally. Everything
And
revolves around tattooing,
and,
and
and,
it's
and
been
it's
the best.
evolving, right? So I guess we could wrap
Changed
up
my
the
life.
official part of the interview, right? But like, you know, part of what keeps it exciting, right? So it's 30 plus years, decades in, right? But like, when does it get old? Well, at this point, like, if you're changing people's lives through the art of tattooing and through, your all the other endeavors, and more people are getting tattooed and being able to change their like, and there's more artist types, and it's hard to deny that there's more talented tattooers now than ever, right? There might not be enough work for everybody to be as comfortable as before, but like there's more awesome tattooers, and it keeps it exciting, right? So I guess and anyways, and you're part of the evolution, right? Which is nuts, and but yeah, well, it's due to hard work and being in the right place at the right time. But again,
Well,
it's
never know where
definitely your
you're
hard
gonna.
work and your meticulous nature that's got you on the shiny side. I guess one last question. So how do you stay on the shiny side for so fucking long, right? I mean, again, people are picking at you. There's all sorts of dramas through the scenes, right? Like, what kind of advice could you give to people to take it and keep moving on?
Don't.
Besides being over 6 feet tall and looking like you might kick everybody's ass.
Yeah, right. Don't entertain drama, and drama, and we can all say like if you entertain drama, it will entertain you. It'll take your time, it'll take your energy. You feel like shit the rest of the day. It just changes your whole mental. So, I mean, unfortunately, drama always tries to make an appearance, and it's always fueled by somebody trying to get you to come into it,
Oh yeah.
I don't know. I've been involved in drama throughout. I mean, I've been tattooing 36 years in an industry that's very outspoken. You're gonna
Yep.
have, adversity or other people's comments and stuff like that. Nowadays, like my media is so big, and obviously I put myself out there. I do the fucking signs that say shit that needs to be said. Yeah, exactly. None of them are negative. That's the funny thing. None of those signs are really negative. They're interesting perspectives of things from tattooers, from a veteran tattooer that needs said. And it's, yeah, thank you. So those have been really impactful. But with that, I'm just using this as an example. I also get a lot of people trying to talk shit, or leaving like, or attacking me personally. Like, don't attack the messenger. Either leave an educated comment or move the fuck on.
No.
So nowadays, this is no shit. You leave a negative comment on my personal page or any of the stuff that I'm doing that attacks me, I don't reply to you.
Yep.
I fucking delete your comment and I block you. You don't even exist anymore in my world. So
Yep.
I think more things like that. It was like just being a little more hardline with drama. There's always, I don't get on people's shit and leave negative posts. Like some of the comments that I get, I'm just like, what made you take the time with your thumbs on the front seat of your couch to write that?
Yeah, you wouldn't go into someone's living room and shit in it.
Yeah, that mentality gone. So don't put yourself around it. Don't even entertain it. Like I said, I've written people back years ago, but now I know don't even write people, don't write hate back. You're doing your right thing, and that's why like keep watching. You guys keep watching. I'll keep putting it out. If you want to hate, you're just gonna get blocked and you're not gonna see what the fuck I'm doing. Love it or leave it. Bottom line. So there's a lot of drama if you entertain the drama. Or if you, well, I guess things in your lifestyle too, if you're doing fucked up shit, but live a good life, treat people fucking good, support, be like a positive person and ignore drama. I get so many people, this is no shit. So many people that they finally get like a moment with me and they'll drop some drama about somebody else that I don't, and I just see that in people nowadays. And I just stay very neutral. I'm like, that's weird. So don't entertain the drama. Don't write people back online that leave you negative comments. They're not in your realm anyways. Delete them, block it, delete it. That's your world. Your social media is your world. And if you go, I don't feel right deleting that guy's comment because that shows that I'm editing. No, I don't give a shit. Bottom line, if you can't say it to my face, don't fucking say it on my page. If your thumbs are so cool, I'm going to wrist lock you and then come down to a fucking thumb lock. Break both your thumbs. That's how I would like to handle people.
Yeah, because the algorithms are there designed to increase engagement, right? So, like to your point, you want to do it right. Be controversial, but positive controversial.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
you know where the line is. Well, that's an awesome spot to cut off the official part of the interview.
Breaking thumbs.
Rather violent way to end the interview, but that said, don't talk shit. You might end up with your thumb broke. But awesome. Cool. Well, I'll stop the interview here. We're welcome to stay on for another 10, 15 minutes or however long people want to. If they want, that was awesome.
Oh yeah, it was good talking with everybody.
Let me go.
Yeah, it was fun. Thanks, Durb. Thanks, Gabe.
Yeah.
Cool.
Wow.
You guys.
Yeah, I got to get back to work too. So good to see you guys. Take care and best of everything to y'all.
Hi, brother.
Hey, Suited Tats. Thanks for turning on your camera and saying hi. Is this your first time on the Zoom or?
Hold on one second. Am I muted?
No, we can hear you now.
No, we can hear you.
No, yeah, it's definitely my first time. I was just definitely enjoying hearing everybody's experience level. It's very eye opening. So I really appreciate you guys.
Oh, yeah, thanks for tuning in, man.
Yeah,
that's
no
the
problem.
hard stuff too. It's like tuning in, listening to all this is like it's vital, because whether it's this group of people or the next group of artists, these are valuable. Gabe, how long have you been doing these? Gabe, you've been involved in the tattoo industry.
Well, I've been with Sean
decades.
from the mid '90s, right? And then when we're starting to do and when I'm thinking about like videos, right? Like, well, we didn't quite have videos on that Tiki Mask, but we had slideshows. We had interviews. Right from the very get-go, Nick Baxter would write these captions that would be the stories of his clients. And like that was kind of like those stories of the clients, and then the forums. Those were a lot of the first places that people were congregating, right? So as far as like doing this kind of stuff since the mid '90s, doing it like on Zoom with video conferencing, guy was the one that kind of kicked that into high gear because he's always been into streaming.
Yeah.
So we've always been
Done.
streaming with him on special events, and then probably about a year before COVID. you know, we were doing regular stuffs, and then when COVID hit, everyone had more time on their hands than fucking, you know,
Oh yeah.
usual. So that's when we started doing like 2 or 3 streams a day, you know, a week, you know, like this.
Yeah.
You know,
I like
now we're doing one a week, but then there's, you know, Derek's doing one a week, and you know, there's a couple other people. You know, Jake does a whole bunch, Reinventing does a whole bunch, and
yeah.
but yeah, it's fun, you know, it's fun bringing people together, you know, digitally like this, and again to have, you know, different generations of people be able to tap right into the brains.
Yeah.
Fucking, as you know, 10 years, 20 years from now, people come back and are like, "Hey, we first caught you on one of those Zooms, and that was crazy what you said. No one said that to me before."
Yeah. Well, you've been very I speak for all of us, I'm sure. You've been very dedicated to tattooing, and you've definitely painted in a positive light, and you bring a lot of education and conversation, which is good too. So these are awesome.
Cheers. Well, hey, thank you. Like I said, thank you for participating. I try to, and again, as you know, like when the drama does show up, being like mission and values based, like, wait a minute, what am I supposed to be doing? I'm supposed to be helping tattooers leave a long-lasting positive impact on their clients. Okay, well, I could stick to that. Like, if anybody's got a problem with that, fuck them. How do I do that? You know, enlightenment, endurance, and evolution. Well, if I'm fucking something up, then somebody could tell me, and I will evolve. You know, right? Okay. As long as we're evolving towards helping tattooers leave a long-lasting positive impact, right? And to your point, like there's a lot of action, right? And along with action comes drama, right? Like so to your point, it's
Yeah.
like it's amazing to be like I'm anti-drama, but like it follows me around, but it doesn't
But
follow
it
me
still
around because I
pops up.
want to know. I swear.
It rears its ugly head here and there, you know.
Yeah. But I mean, and that's where it's like, you know, if you have a pot of honey, right, the flies are coming, right? But it's our job to figure out how to properly communicate and protect and to be authentic over the course of decades. Because, you know, it's easy. And then there's the doppelgangers that show up and they smile, they say what you want to hear right back to you. And you're like, oh, you know, there's all sorts of
Yeah.
characters. It gets nuts. Oh, wow. Now,
Yeah.
now we're going, now I don't know where we're going. This is, reel it back in. But I remember some of the art. When are you going to do another pint-sized paintings? So I guess I'll tell a story. You did the pint-sized painting shows, and I
Yeah.
still have connections with Ralph and
Right.
Terry
Yeah,
Yancey.
Ralph
Like some
Nauweiler's
real
great.
international people came onto the scene, or they were
Yeah.
on their international scene. You brought them into the States.
Yeah, yeah, that started, I mean, fucking how long was that? 20 years ago that started? But it started me, I was just doing like little paintings at tattoo conventions. If I wasn't busy tattooing, I'd be making, you know, like little paintings, and that usually people would want tattooed after that too. Like, you got time? Anybody that sees you busy at a convention, like you won't be busy until you start your first tattoo. Then everybody's like, "You got time?"
Yeah, yeah.
So I don't know. We were sitting there. It was like Muriel, Adrian Dominic, Carson, Nate Casecco, all those dudes. And I just started bringing other artists to sit with me and paint at conventions. So my booth turned into like this little mini painting thing. And then we just started talking about it would be cool to do a project because the paintings are so small that you're not asking somebody to do like a fucking giant painting. You're just asking them to do like a little. And it turned into we had that first book. We came to Off the Map with
Yeah, I
the
was
traveling.
checking out those old videos.
Yeah, so we started traveling with the art show. We went to Sacred, New York City with it. It became like this little traveling mini art show that had 400 paintings. So it had more art than most art shows.
Yeah, it was sick.
They're all like miniature. They're fucking dope, man. So the pint-sized painting book, I think it's out of print now. I don't know if we even have any in the warehouse. But no, that was a fun project. We did 2 projects. We didn't do a book on the second one, but we did an art show with it, you know.
Yeah. And you had the app out for a while and shit. I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe if it's everyone's still slow next year, we bring back fucking pint-sized paintings 2026.
That'd be dope. Okay, yeah. I mean, people will remember it. You know, they'll
Oh, yeah.
remember it. And like I said, it's fun because you put like a day or two into a painting. you
Really
know.
render that shit out and spend some time with it. Now it's fun.
So we said it was like small art with a big impact, is what it was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. They're also they were probably like business card size too. They're probably perfect for people's
Yeah.
business cards.
They were just that. Exactly. They were like that. Yeah. People were doing them as their business cards.
But
So I don't know. I've
awesome.
done a lot of shit, man. It's funny you bring that up. I'm like, damn, I did do that, didn't I?
You know, when I was going through the list of the shit, it was, and I was again to the point. I was like, well, I can't talk for 15 minutes about all the shit that, and that's just the shit that we were doing as partnership. Like you got your whole obviously 3/4 of what you're doing has nothing, or 90% has nothing to do with, you know, those
But me and you
projects.
have worked together a lot, man, over the years. Even the first Paradise Tattoo gatherings, you know, a lot of people have brought me into their conventions to help, like at least initially organize them and help them.
Vital.
Even that first Muse Inc. show, like
First,
they flew
yeah.
me in. Like Corey, when Kat Von D owned it and all that stuff, they flew me in just to talk about contracts and how to do this. And
Yep.
I've never really held back.
No, that's my
When I
last
die,
story about you, right? When you said I was trying to get you to do, well, I wasn't trying to get you. I was like, Durb, you should come out and do Hell City in New England, and you're like, yeah, Joe's been trying, but like I'm going to Arizona, and then you
yeah,
said, but I'll help you run a show, and I was like, oh fuck, like
I
I
never
can't
charged
say
you.
no to that, like,
Yeah. I don't charge
like holy
anybody
Moses,
anything either. The way I look at everything, man, like everything is like don't hold back. Try to teach, you know, try to pass on shit. Because when I fucking die, I just want to be looked at as like that guy did good for tattooing. He bettered tattooing, whether it was through my
yep,
conventions or positive, you know, like any of that, like longevity stuff. I just if you hold back, you're just keeping it from your industry, from other people.
yeah,
It won't ever grow from there. So I feel like yeah, like teaching people, helping people
yep.
just adds to tattooing and it
Well,
adds to your legacy of you helping tattooing.
you know, without you, Paradise would definitely not have been as you know successful as it did right out of the gate. And
Thank you.
it
Yeah.
was awesome again. You know, having you there for the first couple of years, and then you know, Guy picked up and pushed us through the art retreats,
Yeah.
and
Yep.
it's you know that's part of one of the things that when people are you know I'll wrap up real quick. You know, but when they're picking at us with drama, it's like you realize it's not about you, it's not about us. Like
Something
it's
like
about
picture.
fucking the betterment of tattooing, right? And if you're really picking at if people who are truly doing that, then it's like, and again, what they don't get is it's not about any particular person. And
Yeah.
you know, and again, Paradise persisted through the you know the drama that I went through, right? Like there's pieces, parts that the tattoo world was not going to let go of.
Mhm.
And you know, I guess that's my last thing is it's like it's not about us. To your point, it's about the impact that you're leaving on other people. And as
It's all tattooing.
tattooers, you know, you literally are leaving impacts on people. You know, that's literally in the job definition.
Yeah. Yeah. I believe having your own goals, but holding everything back for the betterment of yourself and not advancing like an art form or a community is not good.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, it's you put out and then it comes back in 5 years, 10 years. All those people that you're teaching are like, you know,
Yep. Yeah, I'm a big
bullshit.
believer in karma, all that stuff, man, because it shows every day. Like, I'm not gonna get cheesy, but let's talk about manifestation. How many times have you guys thought about somebody you haven't talked to for a while? Next thing you know, they're calling, coming through your door, your studio. So like what you do put out fucking comes back to you, you know?
You know, there's no question that you know, nature has its way, right? But it's so you need to have a positive outlook to move in positive steps, despite the fact that nature is going to fucking chop shit down, and you know,
Yeah,
it's not all fucking. You know, you can't just like think, you know, bunny rabbits and roses and be surrounded by bunny. You actually also have to walk towards those bunny rabbits and roses.
exactly.
And
One of my philosophies, like I live by stoicism. So
yeah,
Marcus Aurelius, all that stoicism is a big way that I like to think, you know?
yeah. Well, real quick, Gina, you're on here. You hopped on. We are wrapping up. Do you have any questions or comments for? I'm going to put you on the spot. Durb, you know Gina?
Yeah, yeah.
Medusa? Yeah.
She's
Oh, yeah.
muted right now. You talking about Medusa, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Where's your lovely face at, girl? Where you at?
I am on the West Coast. I just woke up. I am not
Okay,
presentable,
don't do that.
but
We don't want to see that. Hey!
hey.
Turn your camera back off. No, just joking.
Actually, I was just I don't understand time zones, so I am way late. What I was actually gonna ask is after I watch the replay, is it cool if I DM you any questions I might have related to what was mentioned earlier?
Yeah,
Because I
hell
don't know what to ask now.
Yeah, perfect. Mhm. Awesome.
yeah.
And what's your email? Is it there was the Durb at hellcity.com is your the normal
Yeah,
for people to hit
yeah,
up?
Durban Health City works, but I've been telling everybody stained skin at gmail.com. Just like stained glass, stained skin,
Sweet.
which was my first shop. I kept that email address. There's something I did when I sold stained skin, like what you were talking about earlier, like the successful sale of a shop. I did things because I've known people that have sold their shops and they're like, we don't know where he went. And then they're like sucking up all
Sure.
their clients and shit, you know. When I sold Stain Skin in the contract, you have to keep a 1 inch by 1 inch button on the front page of your website forever that goes directly to me. That way you can't see where I'm not. You don't have the option to sell the shop or close the shop without my consent.
Hmm.
So he couldn't sell it to like somebody like, I'm just going to sell it to this guy.
Some
And it's still
asshole.
kind of like, yeah, that's my legacy. And I kept my email address. That's what I'm getting at.
Yeah, yeah,
That
yeah.
way I
Awesome.
didn't lose all the contacts and stuff like that. That was a true way for me to keep, you know,
And
all
Anthony's
that.
kept the shop going and rolling for the last 20 some odd years.
He just closed it.
Oh, he did.
Yeah,
Okay.
he closed it last year, I
Oh,
think.
well, it's still a
Yeah.
pretty damn good run.
But he talked to me about it. I was like, I don't want it back. Like Red Tree Tattoo guy, this place is like doing its own thing, and
Yeah.
I'm on a whole different path. So I don't want to step back. Nothing against street shops, but I don't want to step back into a street shop and everybody walks in the door trying to draw everything and their ideas. Then they don't
Yeah,
get
yeah.
it.
It is kind of nuts. Like it's fun to move through time again. It's been decades now, right? So it's like every once in a while, I'm like, do I want to do a shop again? Because I'm doing all these tools. My tools are better than ever. Um, it would definitely be way different. I couldn't even imagine having a super shop again, right? Or it's just like all of the personalities and all of the stuff. And for the last 7 years, I've been in my own head. I don't need that many other people's heads. And
Yeah.
but that said, yeah, it'd be nice to have a nice little. I love creating environments, and I've been stuck in this. Everyone's seen the same backdrop for fucking the last 5 years. Like I got to get out of my little fucking cubicle here at some point. But again, what I'd love to do is travel around and visit other places that are already operational, and you could have
Do
your
green
rental
screen and
agreements.
make it be like this. Today's from Japan, and you got the Japanese background on. Green screen that shit.
Yeah,
You're so different.
yeah, listen, I'd rather go to Japan, right? That's what I want to do.
Oh yeah.
Let's get over there. But
Let me know when you're
awesome.
going.
Well, let's wrap it up. Thanks again for hopping on. Do you have any last words or any another before we sign off?
Me? I don't know. Stay motivated, stay positive. That's the main thing. Stay out of fucking drama. That's easy to do.
Awesome.
Yeah, and then just keep bettering yourself, really. Spend more, like Guy Aitchison said, spend more time at the art table than the bar.
Perfect. Sweet.
I guess that's it.
Cool, man. Well, hey, cheers. Thanks again. It's a perfect sign off. We'll catch up in the near future.
See you
Thanks,
guys.
everybody.
Later.
Thanks, bro.